Hey everybody, I'm Invisiblekatana, and I'm doing this video because, like, probably like a couple hours ago, like 2 hours ago or so, I did my Lootcrate DX unboxing. It was the first one that I had ever done, and when I did my unboxing for that, I was actually excited by what I had received. I thought that there were a lot of cool, interesting things in it. I'll kind of go over the different items and stuff and what I got. And overall, personally, I thought it was actually a pretty cool crate. And then after doing that video, I was kind of going around and seeing how a lot of people were disappointed, and I started to learn some stuff that I didn't realize when I was going through my video. Because initially I went through it and I was like, okay, this I kind of like, this I don't like, but ultimately I thought it might actually be worth it because I was surprised by some of the stuff that was actually in there. So I'm gonna go through like kind of the little stuff that some stuff good, some stuff bad. So of course, like the Escape from New York print, this I didn't think was that big of a deal. I was like, oh, this is nothing in it. First off, the first big thing that I noticed was the fact that when I was going through the crate, there were only three IPs that were announced, and it was Bioshock. Um, it was Bioshock, Mirror's Edge, and then Fallout. So those were the only three. And I looked at other videos, and I'm pretty sure they didn't add in other IPs in the last two crates that they've done. So that was something that they kind of added in, it seemed, in this one. And it was the Escape from New York thing, and then excuse me, the Blade Runner stuff. And so this was the other thing. And for me personally, it was like, yeah, I know a lot of people were really mad that this was plastic. Personally, I was just like, I don't really care because I'm not like the biggest fan of Blade Runner, but I thought it was fine. I didn't really care that it was plastic. I was okay with that. And then it was like the headphones. The headphones I actually liked when I first got them. It was like, I know they aren't going to be like the most amazing thing ever, but I actually liked them. And I kind of, oddly enough, when I first opened them up, I kind of praised them because I was like, oh, they were thinking ahead, and they made it where you can actually buy the cord. You know, it comes with the cord, but it was like, oh, they have it where it's not just normal headphones. You buy the cord and stuff, and they fold in. So it's like just little extra bonuses. And it's like, the headphones don't wear out, but the cord does, and you can replace it. And I thought that was a really cool thing. And it was like, really simple to have like Fallout and Nuka-Cola. But then watching other videos, people mention like the quality was bad and stuff, and so of course I listened to it, and the quality kind of sucks. And of course, aside from the fact that it was super cheap, the fact that they sound cheap kind of added to that. And then there are like the two other items, which are like my two favorite items, which I didn't realize weren't actually as great as I thought they were on first glance. And that is like the Bioshock Infinite art book, which is a Loot Crate exclusive. I didn't realize this because I didn't know. I don't buy, art books and stuff. But when I saw that it was a Loot Crate exclusive, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's really cool. This is, like, actually a really good value. But it turns out this is probably the least value. Like, oddly enough, it's probably the least value out of anything in here because this book is, like, 3 years old. And it's the exact same book, except it's an even worse version of the book that already exists. It's a Loot Crate exclusive because it's not hard, because it's softcover. And the original version is actually hardcover, and that's what makes it exclusive. Now, there may or may not be some other prints in here. I didn't go through it. I haven't seen anything on that. But the fact that people mention like it's the same book, even the front cover is exactly the same. That kind of, I would assume, if the front cover didn't even change, it's probably the exact same pictures on the inside. And when I first saw this in the crate, I was super excited because I actually like the franchise. So of course, for some people, it would just be like, oh well, that sucks in general. But finding out, even loving the franchise, finding out that I could get the hardcover version of this, and I saw it for like $18.48, so it's not even $20 because the book is like 30 years old. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, maybe they got. I just assumed like either they didn't do an art book for Bioshock or they did like an exclusive version, and it kind of made sense a little bit because they announced like the Bioshock remastered collection recently, and it was like, okay, it kind of makes sense why they have Bioshock in there. And so finding out that that was like $18 really upset me. And then there's the watch. Now, when I first opened up the watch, I was like, okay, this is really cool. I like Mirror's Edge. I have, I bought the recent game and I have the original as well. But I didn't know this, once again, until I read some comments where people mentioned that it's actually fairly cheap. Because first off, people mentioned, some people had it where items that they got were, like the headphones, a ton of people got those scratched up because they were just in the box. And some people actually got their watch where it was broken, and some people used their watch, and after a couple uses it was messed up. But the big thing that got me on this, which I didn't notice when I first did my unboxing, is that this is actually not metal. I just assumed that it was because I was just looking at it because it was tied in, and that was the only reason I didn't take it out. And I was like, well, it looks cool, and I was just looking at it and stuff. I was like, all right, this looks really cool. So initially, I thought this was awesome, and then I was on Reddit because some comment I read on YouTube, people were talking about, a bunch of people on Reddit talking about it. And when I read that, I was like, I didn't realize that because I didn't actually take the watch out because of the little zip tie thing on the back. And then you touch it, and it's like, yeah, this does feel super cheap. And I thought it was like a nice metal watch. Like, I was actually excited. I was like, okay, a lot of the other items might not be super great, but this is like a nice, metal watch and stuff. And then I touch it, it's like, no, that's actually just basically just like a plastic watch. Like, it has a nice, design on the inside, and it does look fancy because it looks like it's, metal, but it's actually plastic. And then, like I said, the book, technically, it's literally like a technicality of exclusivity on this one because of the softcover, hardcover thing. And maybe this itself is exclusive. Maybe they don't have this on the back because it has like the Lootcrate exclusive in there, or I don't know. Like, I don't know. Something is different about this as well, obviously. So technically, that makes it exclusive. And so initially, with my excitement, it was like, okay, stuff is kind of, some stuff I thought was so-so, but as far as the watch and the book combined, I thought were worth a bunch of money because I go to a bunch of conventions, and I thought if this was truly exclusive, this could easily be worth like 30 or 40 bucks because it's just an exclusive thing depending on how exclusive it truly was. But it's not. It's just soft cover, which, as everybody knows, hardcover is better. So it's exclusive technically for being a lesser version of what you can get for less than $20, online. And then this watch is like kind of cheap. It still looks cool. Like, the watch, you can't deny the watch looks cool. But seriously, thinking that it was a metal watch, I liked it way more than I would have if I actually like was able to take it out and be like, oh, this isn't actually metal like I thought it was just by looking at it. It's like that silver plating stuff. Like, that's all it is, and it has like that really cheap feel to it. And that's kind of the reason I'm doing this video, is kind of to just kind of talk with you guys about how disappointed you are with certain things in this crate, and how maybe, because even for some people, other people that I saw do unboxings, where it's like they were excited just like I was in the video, and then I'd read comments where they were talking with other people and they're like, yeah, after using the headphones where they kind of suck, because initially I was like, oh, I just put them on and I didn't actually listen to them because I didn't think they'd be really crappy headphones. I kind of just thought, oh, simple headphones. I was like, yeah, they feel fine. They have that sort of cheap plasticky feel, but I was like, the feel of the headphones doesn't matter to me as long as they sound good. And that's the problem, is that they really don't. And it's like, they don't. And so it's just kind of surprising. And I heard that, especially with all the random issues that they had with people getting broken watches and headphones being like really scratched up. And I don't even know how this happened, but my print is messed up because there's a tiny there's like a spot in the top left where it's just got like a bunch of little divots. You wouldn't be able to see it if I zoomed in, I don't think. But as soon as I like pulled it out when I was doing my unboxing, I was like, oh, it's got marks in it in like the top left. And it's like multiple divots. It's not like one of the boxes like fell at a point. It's like a couple of different things look like it like fell on this print. And I thought that was so weird. And for me, it was like, okay, well, that's a little print I didn't care that much about anyway. But then it's like, seeing how this is supposed to be like the Lootcrate DX. It's like the amazing special edition thing, and we get like, the plastic figure. When you kind of get all the information at one time, you kind of realize like, oh, this was a really crappy box. Because when I first did it, like I said, and this is my first DX box, so, and it was a lot of people, like, you read a lot of stuff if you go to the Lootcrate Reddit. There are a lot of people like, this is my first regular crate as well as my first DX crate. And some people didn't like the regular crate. I actually liked the regular crate for this one, and then I was kind of really excited about this one, which came late. So a lot of people are very, have a lot of speculations as to why it came late and what was going on with that. Like, some people think maybe the Fallout item, especially with it like being super cheap now, a lot of people wonder if that's why this crate actually ended up coming so late, because something, something fell through, so they had to like switch it out. And maybe that's why we have, some of these extra items, because normally they do have like, it's normally like 3 items from what I saw at least, like I said. But this comes in, and I was like, not really thinking about it, and also not knowing, especially about the book thing, that it's only exclusive because of the softcover thing. I seriously thought that that would be worth a bunch of money. Like, that in itself is probably worth like 30 or 40 bucks. And that's what made me think this crate is definitely worth it. But then it's like, no, you can get the hardcover for under $20, which makes sense because it's like 3 years old. And then this you probably still could get $20. So I guess technically that's like 40 right there. And then, people talk about like, oh, the headphones probably are worth like $5, especially because the sound quality isn't even good. And then I'm sure someone would charge $10 for this just because of the world. But yeah, and then of course everyone talks like, the pen is probably like the best thing in here. Technically, that's like, the pen and the watch are technically like exclusives, but the pen, like all the metal that's clearly in this heavy pen should go straight into this watch, which I realize now that the pen actually kind of feels a little bit heavier to me than this whole entire box does. But that's why I wanted to make this video, because I didn't realize, when I first did it, that it was as cheap as it was. Like, I knew, like the headphones, I knew it was like, oh, they just have the simple headphones. It's super easy to, kind of get headphones. But then it's like, they aren't even good headphones. They don't even really sound that good. And, the plastic Blade Runner car, which, a lot of people mention it doesn't look like it does on the actual box either, which it really doesn't. And then, it's super plastic, and then the pen is better than most of the stuff in here. Nothing, the big thing, of course, with Lootcrate is that stuff is exclusive. And that, that's why I say, that's another reason why the book itself is probably the worst thing as far as value, because first off, you can get a better version. You can get a hardcover version for under $20. And secondly, the fact that they call it exclusive because it's just soft covered totally diminishes really what Loot Crate is all about. Like, you get exclusive stuff, and I don't know. Like, I feel like, we kind of got gypped on this one, and that really does suck. And I know they're doing returns and things like that, mostly for people that had defective items, and I kind of have to check for my watch to see if it's messed up or not. And like the headphones, a lot of people mention were scratched up. I do have, because I looked after a lot of people mentioned that, and I do have like over the Nuka-Cola thing, I can see that it's, it's almost like when you drop like a tiny bit of juice or something, and then a little bit of like fuzz gets on it, and it's like, oh, that's dirty, and you can wipe it off. That's what it looks like, but it's definitely a scratch. I can't wipe it off. It's a scratch, and it's just really messed up. And like going through all the comments and realizing how crappy this crate is, knowing the facts, especially, like the main thing honestly is for me is the art book, because it was like, okay, some of the other stuff can be cheaper, and of course thinking the watch was metal, because like I said, this being, if it was like full on metal, most likely, it would be like upcharged. It would probably be like $40. But realistically, you could easily see this for like $20 to $25. And then the art book, like I said, being on the low end, I thought, as an exclusive at least, 30 bucks, even if it's for an older game. If it's an exclusive art book where it's like, there's art in here that no one's ever seen except for the people that have the DX crate, that's a huge deal. That could easily be 30 bucks, and that would be about, $55 or something, which would be more than what I even paid. Plus you have, the headphones, and then the Blade Runner car. And, then getting all the information, like, oh, that's actually not metal, and then just touching this and be like, huh, didn't know that, because I was just like, oh, it's pretty, look at that. And then the book isn't even exclusive. They just put exclusive and then made it soft cover. That is just crazy. And I don't know, maybe there's something else random in here that's, I don't know, exclusive. Maybe there's a box on one of the pages, and it's like, boom, that wasn't in there. Loot Crate exclusive. But I don't know. Like it's just it's crazy. Like this is my first one. Like a ton of people, I bought it because it was like extra $50, and it was like I want this because I love Fallout, I love Bioshock, and I love Mirror's Edge. The games, especially the most recent game, probably not the greatest game, but the idea of the franchise I really love. But I was excited for these items, and you know the and 2 out of 3, at least initially, or actually all three, I was actually okay with. I was really excited for, and then it's like, no, the headphones actually suck. Um, the watch may or may not work because, like I said, some people have had a bunch of issues with them, so I don't know if mine is good or not. And then the book, which I was super excited about because I personally love Bioshock Infinite, actually isn't exclusive whatsoever. And instead of spending, I think I saved $5 because I used someone's code or whatever. Instead of spending like the $45 plus tax, I could have just bought, the hardcover version of this book for $20 or less if I probably went on eBay or something. And maybe I wouldn't have been able to find this watch. I mean, I could have found it on eBay if I went afterwards, but it's just crazy. Like, it really is disappointing to see that. And I don't know if I'd be able to get, a refund with mine. I would certainly return it solely based on what I know now compared to when I first opened the box. And even though I kind of went more, initially I wanted to do this more just kind of talking with you guys and asking you what you guys thought about it initially compared to now. Because for me, that's what it was, because for me, I didn't really understand and get the full detail, mostly because I was doing the video, so I didn't instantly, I didn't know it would be like, zip tied and stuff. So I just looked at it. I was like, that's cool. I like this. The book says it's exclusive, so I wouldn't know until I looked up that information. And that was the thing, because I was like, oh, it's Bioshock Infinite, and I was like, maybe they didn't make a book for it, which I thought was crazy in itself. And then it was like, well, it says it's exclusive. There's got to be something to it. It's either the entire thing is exclusive and they never made one, or they're prints in. And I was initially just thinking like, well, if it's exclusive, I would assume they just never made one. Like that was my initial thought. I was like, well, it's exclusive. What even if they added a couple prints, it's like even that's not that big of a deal as an exclusive. It's like, oh, they added, unless they added like half of the book. If it was like they added this much of the book or even this much, that I could see as exclusive. You add like 30 pages or 50 pages or something to a book, that's a little different. I could see that as an exclusive thing. But when it's literally only exclusive because you put exclusive on it and then made it softcover, that's just really bad. Like, and on Reddit, a ton of people are saying like how it's basically um, false advertising and stuff and like bad marketing because, and I didn't even think about this, especially because this probably would have come up if I thought about it. But like I said at the time, I didn't realize how not exclusive the book was and how cheap the watch was. This is supposed to be $100+ crate. You pay for basically you pay for half, and then you get you basically get double your money's worth. And the crazy thing is, when I was initially doing my review, the one thing that disappointed me after I went through everything was like I was kind of hoping it would be like the other crates, because the other crates seem to follow the same pattern where it's like you get like one kind of item or something where you maybe get like a big figure or something like that, and then you get something that you can carry around like a bag or something like that, and then you get like a shirt or like a long sleeve shirt or a hoodie or something. And that's what I was really looking for. And the crazy thing now is like, man, if this came with this shirt or especially a hoodie, which I was really hoping for, I was really hoping that there would be like a hoodie in here from one of the 3 franchises, because that's what I was looking forward to the most. I was getting a really cool exclusive hoodie. That I thought would have been the coolest item to get. And then technically the most exclusive thing we have is, I would assume, the Mirror's Edge watch. I mean, the Blade Runner car is from a place called Chronicle Labs or something like that. So even though it says Lootcrate exclusive, maybe you could get something from them. I don't know, but it's like, man, if they actually had a shirt or a hoodie, it may have actually been worth something. I mean, at this point though, it's like, well, I have a $20 book. Not even that, because like I said, the hardcover, at least the price I saw was hardcover for $18.48. So this would be like $16 or $15 because it's not even hardcover, or maybe like $13 technically because it's not even the fancy hardcover version. It would be less than that. So it would probably be around like $13. With the watch being as cheap as it is, who knows? Maybe 20, I guess, technically. And that's, I guess that's being generous. It would logically be like 15, but it would probably be 20. And then, of course, the cheap headphones, everyone, calls them like $5 headphones, and they probably would be like $5 to $10 headphones. And you can get, go like Big Lots or a dollar store, and you can get $10, and you get these type of headphones and the little in-ear, headphones at the same time. And the logo doesn't really do that much. I mean, it's just a logo. I'm sure you could easily figure that out. You can get a sticker, boom, same thing. This, I don't know, $8, $10, maybe 12, because it spins. I don't know. And then, of course, the badge, which is actually pretty sweet. The badge is actually really awesome, and it has a heavy weight to it. It looks cool. It's shiny and reflective, and that's just sad. And it's crazy realizing now, like, you pay like the 45 or $50 plus tax and everything, and really the highest value is the badge you get, which is like, like this, because it's supposed to be like a cop badge. And that's insane to me, and it really sucks. And I highly doubt that. I mean, I guess I could technically, because I have like the scratches on my thing. I guess technically I could get a refund, but I don't know. I wanted to do this after realizing how crappy the crate is compared to my initial excitement. I wanted to do this and just kind of go through like my thought process of how excited I was, and then realizing like, oh, this book isn't exclusive. It's exclusive, like I said, because they put exclusive on it and made it a lesser version of the one you can buy for $18. And then the super cheap headphones, and oh yeah, I thought there was something missing. This, which I didn't care about to begin with. Plus this is messed up. So I got weird random indentations on that, even though I don't know, I guess for me the print was on top of the book, so maybe the book should have been on top of the print to protect it, I guess. But I don't know. It's disappointing. Like, it's crazy like how excited I was at first. Like, I thought this was great, and then I realized none of this. The book isn't exclusive. Technically, the other stuff is, but it's not. It's not gonna total $100 in value. Having exclusivity because you put exclusive and made it softcover really doesn't do anything. So I don't know. I would love to know what you guys thought about it, especially if you were like me, if you liked the crate initially and then you started to realize like, oh, you listen to the headphones and they suck. You touch the watch, which if I knew that, I think my demeanor really would have changed about that watch, because that kind of blew my mind when I read how that was. But my camera's going to cut off because I'm rambling, but I want to know what you guys think about this, because it just changed. It just really dived downhill, and I hope I can get a refund, honestly, because I want one for this. Because if I really want the art book, I'll just pay the $20, and it's worth more. Like, I don't want a cheap watch like this. I want like an actual cool metal watch that would actually make me think the crate is at least somewhat closer to the $100 value, $100+ value it's meant to be.